Hey, what's up guys, it's Slikk here. I'm back again with another video, and I thought of a fun commentary idea, so I thought I would go back through Batman Arkham Knight from pre-release all the way through after the last bit of DLC was done and recollect my thoughts on the game as its entirety. And important to understand, why I'm making this commentary is that Batman Arkham Knight is probably the most important or impactful game that I've ever owned or played to my life on more than just the front of the game, but from how it impacted me getting into YouTube, and I'll explain all of that a little bit. Not too much, it's not about me, it's about the game, Batman Arkham Knight, this commentary is, but I'll explain that a little bit. But also that, not only that, it was my most anticipated video game of all time. I mean, I have never, ever been more excited or looked forward more to a video game than Batman Arkham Knight. And as much as I'm looking forward to Injustice 2 and Spider-Man PS4, I don't think that it's going to, exceed that hype level that I had for Batman Arkham Knight. And that's why it's a very special game to me personally. And people ask all the time, it's probably the question I get asked the most on this channel is, which is your favorite Arkham game? And I actually have made a whole video on that if you want to go check it out. But the answer is Batman Arkham Knight is my favorite Batman Arkham game. And, not from the story perspective, because I don't think the story is the best in the Arkham franchise, which we'll talk about that a little bit later. So let's just go ahead and get into it and get into pre-release. And as I said, it was my most anticipated video game of all time. I have never been more excited for a video game than I was for Batman Arkham Knight, because it was the big sort of finale of these Arkham games that I was such a huge fan of. I had played Asylum and City extensively, and, leading up to the game, I was replaying Asylum and City, and just sort of, getting acquainted with that universe a little bit more in that world and immersing myself in that. And I was just a huge fan of both of those games, and I just couldn't wait to play Batman Arkham Knight. So, at this point, I had quit YouTube for about 2 years. I was a Call of Duty YouTuber. I never made Batman Arkham videos or DC or any videos like that. So I came back with this video here. What's going on, guys? I'm back again within the video, and today, as you can see here, I have a new poster, just came in the mail from GameStop, so let's take a look at it. You can see here, we've got the Batmobile and Batman. So this is a Batman Arkham Knight promotion, obviously. The game comes out on June 23rd. Of course, I didn't make this video just to show you a poster. This one I actually got for free after years and years of points and spending on GameStop. I just now got this, which is interesting. How that works, but nonetheless, that's a cool poster that'll probably go on the other side of my door there. Since you see, my walls are populated with Batman posters already. We've got Joker signature as well from Heath Ledger. Batman posters everywhere. I got a lot of Call of Duty and Walking Dead posters as well. But anyway, so this will probably go on the other side of my door or something. But what I wanted to announce is that I will be playing the entire game, Batman Arkham Knight, on the 26th, or actually the 23rd. I'm sorry. I will be playing the entire game, a walkthrough from beginning to end. You can see, of course, this is the trailer for the game that you see on the screen right now. I'm so incredibly excited for it. You can actually see this another let's see the little thing I got. It's a picture of Batman, and instead of the bat signal, it's an Apple logo, because I'm a big Apple user as well. But there it is right there, folks. I will be playing the entire game on June 23rd from beginning to end. Episode 1 It's going to be in about 20-minute segments, a walkthrough of the entire game. I have it, of course, for Xbox One. And I'm really looking forward to it. And announced that I was going to be making comic book videos for Batman Arkham Knight. Now, the video probably only has like a few hundred views, and at that point, most of my subscriber base that had subscribed for me from like Black Ops 2, and I'd posted once in 2 years, obviously a lot of that viewer base was inactive. So at this point, I was basically rebuilding a channel from nothing. And I really, to be honest with you, had no intent of becoming a full-time, Batman YouTuber or anything like that. That just sort of happened, okay? And the first video I ever uploaded for Batman Arkham Knight when the game came out is actually the video that got like well over 100,000 views, and I stole a fellow YouTuber, Salvage1009's thumbnail for that video, and I equate that to get maybe helping with the views, I don't know. But anyway, so I saw a lot of success in the first day that, I started uploading, but before then, as I mentioned, I was so excited. So let's talk about my road up to actually getting the game, and that happened, of course, at the Midnight Reveal event, which I did go to for Batman Arkham Knight. And when I was there, there wasn't quite as many people as I was expecting, but I was expecting like hundreds, like maybe 200, and it was more like 100. Okay, so there was a lot of people there. It was pretty packed. I got there, I would say, around 8 o'clock p.m., and it was coming out at midnight. So we sat there for a long while. You know, they did some games and stuff like that. It was actually pretty fun. It's a crowd that was a little bit nerdier than I was, definitely at the time, and probably still am. You know, I'm still... I would consider myself a big comic book nerd. I read a lot of comic books, and I'm big into to all this stuff. However, you know, cosplaying and, I don't think I really fit the stereotype of like a stereotypical nerd, so to speak, in the way that I act. That's just me personally. Maybe you all think otherwise, and that's totally okay. But, as I said, I would never cosplay or do anything like that. I don't think, that's not really up my alley, but that's cool if you do, I'm just saying. But, there was people like that there, all kinds of people dressed up and shit like that. So anyway, I was there. I sort of felt like a fish out of water because at that point, my knowledge of the DC universe and Batman and everything like that was not, as much as I know now, because as I said, I had taken a big break from reading comic books, actually, and when I was a kid, actually, the whole time growing up, I read pretty much almost only Marvel, with the exception of a little bit of Batman. So as I said, I wasn't a Batman expert beyond that of which was in the Arkham games and some animated series stuff that I'd seen and that sort of thing, and the Dark Knight. I was into all that. I wasn't a seasoned Batman reader, reading Batman comic books every day, as I pretty much do now. So anyway, I was at this midnight event. It was pretty cool. They did these things like they had these Riddler trophies that you had to like find, and somebody got like a free copy of the game. Again, I was like, I'm not gonna beat these guys. I mean, these guys are fucking nerds, basically. So I wasn't, they were like tryhards, and they were like teaming up. They were like, teaming up. I was just alone. I was just me there, and finally, the time rolls around, and we were begging the GameStop people to let us get the game early. And what was great is they were all huge fans too. So we were talking to the GameStop guys for just hours and hours about, Batman and our predictions and stuff for the game. And a really funny moment, this guy, he said like, "Oh yeah, I knew it happened. The Arkham Knight is black," and like, people literally jumped on him. Like, somebody actually literally hit the guy, and just like attacked him. I mean, not literally, more like verbally, but just freaked out, like, "Dude, what are you doing? Get the fuck out of here." That sort of thing. So yeah, there wasn't really any young kids there, except like one kid that was 8. Mostly it was like, I was the youngest kid there. So mostly it was just sort of like, 25 to 30-year-old adults, and it was people like that. And just like, I don't know, just weird how this guy was just going to plan on spoiling the whole game for us, just kind of casually. And, we were all speculating. Of course, the big question was, who is the Arkham Knight, right? So we were just talking about that for hours. It was a fun time. Anyway, so I get the game at midnight, and I go home. I'm so excited to play the damn game because, as I said, the most anticipated video game of all time. Like, the whole day beforehand, I was reading Batman comics. I'm in the mood. I'm ready for this game. It was the big finale. I was watching all the trailers, rewatching, just blaring my ears out, listening to how hyped they were and everything. I just couldn't wait. So I don't hurry home. I go 5 over the speed limit. That's the maximum I do. So, I'm not going to die just to play Batman Arkham Knight 5 minutes early. And by the way, to my dismay, when I get home and I put in the game, what am I prompted with? A 2-hour freaking update to get the game or whatever, because, this is 2016. Why would we progress technology? Now we can't just put games in our consoles anymore. We gotta download updates and shit like that. So that annoyed me, and I didn't know that was going to be the case. And I do always like buying games physical for the reason I mentioned. I like going to midnight premieres. Actually, that's the only one I've been to, so scratch that. But, I do, like going and talking to actual people and, getting the game physically and that sort of thing, as opposed to digital, whereas that night would have been way less fun if I was just sitting in my room waiting for the timer to take down. I was talking to people and meeting people and that sort of thing, so it was fun at the midnight premiere. And anyway, I get home, put the game in, and I've got to download that stupid update. But I'm on, Gamma, G Fuel, I think you guys know what it is. I am on so much of that crap, it is insane. I've been drinking it since, like 5, because I was 17 at the time, I think I was, and I wasn't used to staying up that late, really, because I was still on like a high school schedule timer. Actually, no, this was the summer. Scratch that. So maybe I wasn't, but I remember being tired, for sure. And I'm on Gamma and G Fuel and all this shit trying to stay up. So finally, the game launches, and I'm playing the game, everything's hype, and that sort of thing. And I fall asleep. I played the first probably like 4 to 6 hours of the game, and then I'm out. Okay, so I was just so tired. It was like 8 a.m., the sun was starting to come up. I'm a good way through the game. I'm not really at a point where it's like, I gotta know what happens next, that sort of thing. Whereas that was probably the case I was probably right before the part where Barbara Gordon dies, okay? So then I wake up the next day, and I'm going to finish the game. So I had a good session playing the first night, and the first morning, I guess it was. And then I play through the remainder of the game. I remember exactly, I go to get Japanese food right up the street. I come back, and then I'm going to finish playing the game. So I was eating, and I was about to finish the last, hour or two of the game. I finished the game probably around 2 p.m. This would be on Saturday, because the game came out on Friday. Yes, that's correct. And I finished playing the game 2 p.m. and I remember the first overwhelming reaction that I had to finishing that game, locking Scarecrow up. So you put Scarecrow in the elevator, you go down, and then you're on the rooftop, and the game is over. Except there isn't any cutscenes beyond the Scarecrow cutscene of him going down the elevator. I remember I was so disappointed. My overwhelming reaction after playing my most anticipated video game of all time. I thought it was going to be the best game in the Arkham franchise, open world, Batmobile, all this is going to fucking make Arkham City look like a shit show. And I played it, and my first overwhelming reaction after playing it was disappointment. Okay? Now, Arkham City, obviously, your reaction, you're not thrilled or anything. It's sort of sombered away, but it's wow, that was an amazing game, right? Arkham Asylum, you're yeah, that was a great story and experience. I played that so long ago. I don't remember my initial reaction, but that's what I would think it would be. And Arkham Knight, I specifically remember I was disappointed because I felt that the game didn't provide on its promise of wrapping up the storyline of what they were promising in the trailers, does the Batman live, does he die? And I thought the reveal and everything was crazy. I love that final cutscene. I still wish I recorded my reaction to it because it'd probably be pretty funny to a lot of people. So, the cutscene was amazing, and the part where he plays the Joker, I love that, but then I felt like there was no coherent sort of ending like there was to Arkham City. An amazing ending that was going to blow me away and blow my mind, and I also was rather disappointed by the Arkham Knight reveal. Not even because I saw it coming or, just predicted it. It was just because I thought it was disappointing. I was oh, wow, really? It's Robin? Okay, whatever. So I was not happy by that. I thought it was going to be something that blows your mind, and it's the Joker, or blah, 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 or it's Alfred. And it was just oh, wow, it's the dude you showed me 30 minutes ago before revealing. So I was disappointed with that, and I was disappointed with the ending of the game. Later that day, I talked to my neighbor, who is a big Batman Arkham fan. He said he can't even get through the first hour. He hates it so much because the Batmobile sucks and everything like that. Now, he's 30, okay, so he's sort of an older gamer. I didn't have a problem with that. I was having fun playing the game. I was just disappointed by the ending. So, wow, that's a bummer, okay? The game's over, and I'm disappointed. I remember being so depressed looking up the ending on YouTube. I was wow, this is what it comes down to. I've got to look up on YouTube how the game freaking ends. That is lame. I'm not going to collect 243 Riddler trophies. They're side missions. They should be side missions for a reason. That's what I remember thinking. So, nonetheless, I still enjoyed my experience with the game. I was just disappointed by the ending. And, as I think about it more and more, I do increasingly love the story of Batman Arkham Knight. But it is true that I did not like the way that game ended. I did not like how you don't get the real ending until you lock up Penguin and, all these other side plots that are kind of pointless to the main story. It's one thing if they had something to do with the story. I felt that the story also didn't deliver on the promise in the trailers, which was all of the rogues of Gotham, joining together to one coherent attack against Batman, which the game, of course, really wasn't. Okay, to be realistic here. But overall, as I said, I enjoyed the game. It didn't have the impact that Arkham City had for me at the very end, and I was not happy that I had to look up on YouTube the ending of the game. However, I still was eager to do videos for the game as I promised that I was going to do. And actually, the plan was to do a full walkthrough of the game, which never happened because it was 4 a.m. and I couldn't talk loud or whatever and, wake up my sister or mom or dad. So, basically, I finish playing the game, I start uploading videos. The first video I upload sees a lot of success and that sort of thing. So I start uploading more and more and more and more and start building an audience slowly but surely for Batman Arkham. And as this starts to happen, I start coming in contact and finding other Batman Arkham YouTubers. I believe the first of which was Salvage, and then later I found Caboose. So I didn't know that other people made Batman Arkham videos before that point. So that was new to me that there were other YouTubers, which is sort of a, I guess a unique situation. If you're like a Call of Duty YouTuber for years and years and you finally make it or whatever, and you start, and you get in contact with Allier or T-Mart or whatever, and, they follow you on Twitter, blah, blah, blah. That's like a big thing, but for me, I didn't even know that, like, people like Salvage existed, to be honest with you, so, when I started, like, talking to them, I don't know, it didn't feel, sorry, Salvage, you're not important, no, I'm just kidding. And actually, I remember my first impression of other Batman Arkham YouTubers was when Salvage was involved with drama with Caboose XBL, another Batman Arkham YouTuber, who many of you, I imagine, know, and I would watch his, like, little rant videos, getting mad at Caboose XBL or whatever, and I just thought it was the funniest thing. I was like, wow, this is a shit show that I have walked into here. I was just doing my own thing, as I said, but still, I just looking at that and like, oh my god, and then that was just too funny. I thought that was hilarious. So, that is when I started making videos for Batman Arkham and that sort of thing. And I was making all sorts of discussion videos, all of which getting, received pretty well, and I was having a lot of fun doing them. I was just really into the game and into the whole Batman Arkham universe and that sort of thing, and I just really had a blast making videos, and I continue to do this throughout the DLC, just gaining more subscribers, gaining more following, and then I believe it was September or October came around, maybe a little bit before then, and the DLC really started picking up steam, not in the best way possible. More content started getting released, and I actually had pre-purchased the Batman Arkham Knight Season Pass. And I remember specifically the turning point for me. I played the Batgirl DLC. I gave it like a 6 out of 10. I was like, wow. I was really excited for that DLC too. I stayed up all night for that too. Most anticipated and disappointed. Okay, so I wasn't super pleased with that. I thought it was going to be a little bit more story-based. It was really just rescuing hostages. Nothing really happened in terms of like a story. There wasn't much plot or cutscenes. So I was disappointed with that. I was expecting like 2 hours. And then I remember the turning point was the Nightwing Dlc, which I was less excited for because of the Batgirl DLC. But I played it and I completed it in 12 minutes and I was like, really? Really, dude? I spent $40 on this. I was pissed. Okay, so I make my rant for the Nightwing DLC, and that is actually how I gained a lot of subscribers. Before then I was gaining a lot of subscribers for Batman Arkham. But that's when I really started like seeing a lot of traction, is when I started ranting about how much the DLC was bad. Okay, and that's when I really started to, make videos increasingly more often for Batman Arkham when the DLC started to come out. And basically, a lot of my videos were just ranting about how much it sucked and how we got ripped off and that sort of thing, especially in regards to the Nightwing DLC, which was still really awful. I don't care what anybody says. Okay. So as I said, a lot of my videos for, that month after the Nightwing DLC came out was just sort of ranting about how the DLC was bad. I made a video about that's so funny looking back. It wasn't even that long ago. I don't know. I just think it's funny. I called them scam steady. I said they need to give us all a refund. And I still do believe that the PC players should have been refunded, because think about it. PC didn't get any of the DLC early at all. They got it all after the fact. One of the big reasons that I bought the season pass was because you get all of the DLC early. That's why a lot of people bought it. Otherwise, you just buy everything individually. You might lose out on like $5, but you can pick and choose and don't have to buy this skin or that skin. In the long run, you'll save money. But we bought the season pass because we wanted the Batgirl DLC and the Nightwing DLC, which we all thought was going to have content that could be spoiled in them, which they didn't. But anyway, we wanted to get it a week early. And what turned out happening is that the PC players never got that. So I still do feel that they actually should have been refunded, but they never did. Their $40 is pretty much foregone at this point. But anyway, that was my position on it. They should have refunded the PC players. Us console players, I mean, we can just bitch and moan however we want. They don't really care all that much. But that's what I did. I bitched and moaned and called Rocksteady Scam Steady and that sort of thing. I was very unhappy about this, but I also felt extremely bad for the other people that I had come in contact with, and that's what I really felt bad for is, people like, oh, I wanted to buy this other game. I only have so much money. I'm freaking 13 years old, and I spent all my allowance money on the Arkham DLC instead of buying like this new game that I really wanted. And, so I felt bad for that. I felt like I was sort of sticking up for, everybody that was subscribed to me, not just for me, because, whatever, it is what it is. I mean, It's not the end of the world, but that's what I was really mad about. And also, they cracked it up to be this big thing, and they had these Arkham Insider episodes and made it look like, oh, this is going to be awesome, but you download now, and then you play it, and it's just lame. So at this point, this may sound like a negative video. Okay, so Slikk, so you're disappointed with the game, and you hated the DLC, and you made videos about it, so what's, like, the positive message in this? Well, actually, as I said, I really love the game. It's my favorite Batman Arkham game. Not to say I didn't have extremely high expectations that I was expecting the game to make, and it did not. But, even so, I really, really love the game. I think that overall the DLC was not nearly as bad as what I had made it out to be at the time. I still think it should have been, $25 or whatever, but that's not to say that I didn't like the DLC at all. Of course, I got to play as my favorite comic book character of all time, Batgirl. I got to play as Nightwing and, that sort of thing. And even though their story missions weren't thrilling or overwhelming, that was still fun. I like the challenge maps. Again, I feel that some of those could have been in the original game, but all in all, I'm happy that it was additional content, and, if you don't buy the Season Pass, you still have the complete game, unlike a lot of games today, where if you don't buy the Season Pass, then you're basically buying half of the game, or, not all of it. So I'm happy they did that. Overall, I loved Batman Arkham Knight, and it did leave me sort of wanting more. It made me feel that even though this game was great, there's more that they could still cover in the future, and that's what I feel that WB Games Montreal is going to be doing with their new Batman game. So let me know your thoughts on this commentary in the comment section below. What is your experience with Batman Arkham Knight? Were you excited with the game up to release? What were your thoughts when you finally finished the game? And what was your thoughts on the DLC and everything like that? Overall, I'm just so appreciative of all of these subscribers that I've gained over the length of Batman Arkham Knight being released. I've just, made videos almost every single day for that time, and just really enjoyed what I'm doing and love what I've been doing the whole time. So I really appreciate all the support that I've gotten. And also, a little bonus comment if you want to. Let me know when you first found my channel, if there was a distinct video you remember, around early Arkham Knight, towards the DLC rants, or, that sort of thing. And as I said, for every one rant about the Arkham DLC is probably like 5 or 10, discussing and being enthused with the Arkham lore and just everything like that I love about the Arkhamverse and the DC video game stuff. Okay, hope you guys have enjoyed. We'll see you all in the next one.